This is how we got the character 土, which means soil or earth. It originally represents a mound of soil on the ground. This is how we got the character チェン. Can you guess what it means? Welcome to Learn Chinese with Peter. Today, we're diving deeper into the character 土 and exploring more related characters in a fun way, so you can learn faster and easier. Let's jump in. We just learned how we got the character 土, which means soil or earth. Originally, it represents a mound of soil on the ground. And this is how we got the character チェン. Can you guess what it means? This is the character 小 above, which means small. We learned it in our last episode, and you can click above to watch. This is the character 土 we just learned, which means soil. So 小 and 土 together give us the character チェン. Small particles of soil mean dust, just like this. Makes sense, right? You can say 沙尘. 沙 means sand. So 沙尘 means sand and dust. Or you can say 沙尘暴, which means sandstorm. The character 沙 itself is very interesting as well. The left side is a 3-dot radical, which represents water. We learned how it's simplified from the river before. Click above to watch. The right part is 少, which means less. Interestingly, you can find the character 小 here, which means small. You can also see 小 in the character チェン we just learned, representing small particles of soil. Here 小 in the character 少 means a small amount, giving the concept of less. Makes sense, right? So, if we combine 少 and 水, we get the character 沙, which means sand. Just imagine, if the earth lacks water, it will become sandy. Makes sense, right? This is also one reason why, in severe cases, we experience sandstorms more frequently nowadays. In our last lesson, we learned about the 5 elements, 五行, and their interactions. Do you remember why we say wood can overcome earth? This is because tree roots can penetrate the soil. Actually, in this context, overcome not only refers to the ability to penetrate the soil, but also to bend and stabilize it, preventing soil erosion. Additionally, overcome refers to how woods or forests can act as barriers to block wind and sand. This is the application of the 5 elements theory in our real life, planting trees and establishing forests to fundamentally address the sandstorm issue. Okay, let's get back to the character 土. What if we add one stroke above 土? We get the character 王. Just look at the picture. This is a tiger, and you might have noticed there is a natural wáng pattern on the tiger's forehead. So, can you guess what it means? You might think the character 王 means a tiger, but no. In China, we have the character 虎 to refer to the tiger. 虎 is also a pictographic character. The top part of the character symbolizes the tiger's head. The parts around the head represent the tiger's shoulders. This stroke represents the tiger's back, and this part shows the front legs of the tiger. the bottom part symbolizes the hind legs. In Chinese culture, the tiger is considered the king of the jungle, symbolizing its top predator status and nature. So wáng actually means king. The natural markings on the tiger's forehead fortuitously form the wáng character, reinforcing its regal presence and supreme authority perfectly. Actually, the first horizontal stroke represents heaven, just like how I explained the character tián in the previous episode. The bottom horizontal stroke represents the earth, and the middle horizontal stroke represents humanity. The vertical line intersecting symbolizes the king's authority, connecting heaven, earth, and humanity. In ancient China, there is a saying, 普天之下，莫非王土. Under the heaven, all lands belong to the king. This saying also explains the structure of the character wáng. The top horizontal line represents heaven, and below the heaven, there is a character tu, which represents the land dominated by the king. Kings were also called tiánzi in ancient China, which means the son of heaven. This title signifies that the king possesses authority granted by heaven, exercising divine power to rule over the human world. The title not only emphasizes the supreme status of the king, but also indicates that he is the representative of heavenly will, responsible for maintaining the order between heaven and earth. So, if we add one dot above the character wáng, we get the character 主, which means Lord or Master. This dot represents a higher power than the king, symbolizing the divine or God. In ancient Chinese culture, this character signifies the highest authority, surpassing even the king, and is often associated with spiritual or religious contexts. And if we add the dot here to the character wáng, we got the character yu. Can you guess what it means? Wáng represents power and rulership, symbolizing ancient kings or regional rulers. Dot added to the middle part of wáng symbolizes the jade ornament. Yu, composed of wáng with a dot at the waist, symbolizes the jade ornaments worn by kings, representing nobility, purity, and value. Jade holds a very important place in Chinese culture and is often seen as a symbol of power and status. The jade ornaments worn by kings not only demonstrate their high status and position, but also symbolize their virtues and nobility. For thousands of years, jade has been widely used in art, jewelry, and even in ancient rituals and ceremonies. Furthermore, according to the concept of Earth generating metal from the five elements theory, jade can be interpreted as a precious mineral nurtured from the soil. Okay, in our first lesson, we learned the character tián, which is a pictograph, just like this. Actually, it can also be interpreted as a plot of land with boundaries. Soil is the foundation of agriculture, carrying out planting and harvesting activities. Ancient Chinese people placed great importance on land, and they worked hard from sunrise to sunset. When they were tired, they would lean against a tree to rest. This is how we got the character xíng in our last lesson. But many times, there were no trees nearby, so they had to sit directly on the ground. This is how we got the character 坐, which means to sit. The character 坐 is composed of two parts. The character 人 above, which represents people, and the character 土 below, which represents the earth or ground. Together, they form the character 坐 to represent the action of sitting. You can say 坐下. 坐 means sit, and 下 means down. So 坐下 means sit down. In ancient times, people had to sit on the ground since there were no chairs or seats. This is the origin of the character 坐. But nowadays, we have chairs and seats to sit on. The radical wáng generally means a house, shelter, or a wide area. 坐 means to sit. Combine them together, it forms the character 坐, which means a place to sit, or specifically a seat. Sorry, Mario, I haven't offered you a seat in a long while. Finally, the seat is here. You can have a rest. If you are new here, my name is Peter, your Chinese coach. My goal is to make learning Chinese enjoyable and accessible for everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. I'm gonna tell you a good news that I am... Oh no, you dropped into the pit. Are you okay? Just hold on a little bit longer. Our class must continue. Here we have the character kēng, which means pit. The left part is the earth radical. The right part depicts a person struggling in the pit. Here is the head, the arms, and the legs. You can say 掉坑里 to describe his status. 掉 means drop, 坑 means pit, 里 means inside. Oh no, he was buried. The Chinese character for bury is mai, which is quite interesting. The left part is 土, meaning soil, and the right part is 里, meaning inside. So mai literally means inside the soil, just like Mario. In our last lesson, we learned the character mu from him, which means eyes. Today, we're gonna learn another new character. Just look at his mouth. And this is how we got the character 口 to represent a mouth. If the earth opens its mouth, it will spit him out, just like this. So you can understand that the character 土 consists of 口 and 土, representing the earth opening its mouth to spit something out. You can say 吐出, where 吐 means spit, and 出 means out. 吐出 means spit out. When the earth opens its mouth, we get the character 吐, which means spit. But what about the sky opening its mouth, just like this? It will swallow Mario. So you can understand that the character 吞 consists of tián and 口, representing the sky opening its mouth to swallow something. You can say 吞下. 吞 means swallow, and 下 means down. Or you can combine 吞 and 吐 together to say 吞云吐雾. Here 云 means cloud, and 雾 means mist. 吞云吐雾 usually describes a person inhaling and exhaling smoke. Just like this. Hey Mario, glad to see you again. Okay, let's just take a break. The good news I just wanted to tell you is that to help you practice, I'm gonna prepare a printable PDF worksheet with today's characters, which you can download for free. So make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you won't miss any updates. Okay, after a short break from my reel, let's do some work. Here is tun. Here is tu. Look, a tower is over there. This brings us to the character ji. The top part is the character qi, representing the structure of the tower, while the bottom part is tu, symbolizing that the tower is based on the ground. Together, they form the character ji, which indicates a strong foundation. For example, you can say 地基, where 地 means ground and 基 means foundation. So 地基 refers to the foundation of a building or structure, representing the solid base on which buildings are constructed. After laying a solid foundation, we can build structures above ground, such as a wall. Firstly, we use soil to make some blocks, and then use these blocks to construct a wall. This is how we get the character qiáng. The left side of the character represents the material, which is soil. The right side has two parts. The top part represents a wooden structure, and the bottom part represents the body of the wall. You can say 城墙, where 城 means city and 墙 means wall. So 城墙 means city wall. In fact, the character 城 itself also hints that ancient cities were originally built with soil, as indicated by the left part 土, and the right part 城 suggests the completion or establishment of something. Additionally, chén provides the phonetic component, giving chén its pronunciation. This combination indicates that the early cities were constructed using soil. You can say 城堡, which means a castle. Similarly, 堡 consists of two parts. The top part 堡 represents protection, and the bottom part 土 symbolizes the ground, indicating that the castle is built on a strong protective foundation. Alright, Mario has reached the castle, but our learning journey is far from over. There are still many fascinating characters with the Earth radical to explore. Today, we've only scratched the surface. By understanding the radicals and evolution of these characters, you can greatly enhance your learning experience. What's the next radical you'd like to learn? Or any questions? You can leave your comments down below. See you in the next video.